Hey there, everyone. Now, that was an awesome Life and Money conversation. It was a really small group. And it turned out that even though the topic was about how to win your life back after kids, there were only very few parents who were actually in the session. And so, what we ended up focusing on was ultimately how to win your life back from all the competing priorities which you have in your life. So obviously, for anyone who's listening to this who are parents, you realize that your kids need to take a high priority. They demand a lot more either way. And we're usually really rewarded and benefited from placing them as a high priority, but also it's expected as a society that that's what we do. And so we tend to then say, okay, well, we need to look after our kids and we need to make sure income comes in. And so we have career and we have finances or business, which has to be high priority as well. And then you've just got kids and business. And then what about your spouse? What about your health? What about your mindfulness or your well being? What about your exercise? What about your friendships or catching up with mentors or other members of your family? And we tend to neglect and ignore all of those because we struggle to prioritize in our life. Now, the same thing applies to someone who is a university student, for example. And yes, they've got far less responsibility on their plate, but they've still got to study. They've still got to work, usually, in order to make sure they're still paying rent. They've still got to look after all the things in their house as well as of their own health. And they've still got to build up friendships and choose the right friendships to build up as well. And so there are all of these things that we then need to focus on. How do we manage our priorities, whether we're a university student, whether we're a parent of young kids with a spouse, whether we're a solo parent, or if our kids are all growing up and we've got other responsibilities to them, or we're trying to make sure that they can be responsible for themselves, whatever it is, in every stage of our lives, we have differing responsibilities in every area and in every realm. And we spoke about a few really core components of what makes you successful when you have so many different competing priorities. The first part of it is to have a really compelling vision for the future. Where do you want to be? What do you want your life to look like? Because when you can work that out, you can see what are those things in the future that you want that you can tangibly apply to your life right now. If you describe your ideal day and it starts with spending time with yourself or doing 30 minutes of meditation, well, guess what? You can do the same thing now. You can wake up 30 minutes earlier than whatever you're doing right now. You might go to sleep 30 minutes earlier too, but most of the time you can do that already. You can do that in your life today. And some things you're not there yet. Maybe you need to continue growing the business because before you can have sufficient income to be able to go on nice holidays or whatever it is. That's fine. Set yourself a target. And once you have a target and you have a milestone, you know what you got to work towards. So that's the first part. You can prioritize things and the actions which you take each day by looking at where you want to be in the future. And you can say, well, what actions do I need to take now in order to get there? Another core component of what we spoke about was this concept of having responsibility for your own life. You're responsible to connect with the right people in life. You're responsible to yourself and to everybody else as well to take the right action. You're also responsible to see that you have autonomy in your own life. And if you don't believe you have autonomy, then you're going to start seeing all the reasons why you don't have it. Now, another part of this, which we spoke about, was how you can make sure that you focus on the things which are really helpful to you. And we even ran through a couple of exercises to be able to recognize how much is around us that we don't consciously see, but subconsciously we do. And what happens in our life that we allow to filter through into our minds without us even being aware consciously that it's filtered in. And then without being able to manage these new thoughts and beliefs, which are now inside our head or being reinforced in our minds. And so if you want to change your life and be able to manage your priorities better, you've got to get better thoughts inside your head. So you got to surround yourself with the right people, the right friends, the right members of your family. There are some better than others. You got to surround yourself with the right business partners. You've got to approach your kids in the right way so that you have a better relationship with them. You've got to approach your spouse in the right way so you have a better relationship with them. Everything which you do in life, your connection with your clients or with your boss or with your employees or with your colleagues, it's your responsibility to make sure that those relationships improve, and your responsibility alone. And when you improve those, then ultimately your life is going to improve as well, because those are the people you're spending time with. They're the people who you're giving to and receiving back from, whether you want to or not, and whether you're intentional about it or not, it's happening. So you may as well become intentional and then design it to be what you want it to be and what you need it to be. So we spoke about the importance of having mentors and sometimes to also have coaches or advisors. We spoke about the importance of having the right friends and the right people in your network and the right people around you, so that you can take more responsibility for yourself towards getting towards that compelling vision with each of the milestones which are ahead of you. So a nice, useful activity. If you don't manage to watch the video, that's okay. Let us know if you'd like a recording. But a useful activity is just have a look at what you've done throughout your day and work out what each of those tasks, or what each of the things that you did, what have those contributed to? What priorities do they fall under? Were they, for example, someone who attended, it was kids and business. That was it. That was his primary focus. And that was what he was doing throughout the entire day. So whether he wanted it to be or not, his priority was kids and business. And he was choosing, unintentionally choosing, to reduce the importance of all of his other priorities. He was saying that kids and business is more important than my health, more important than my relationship with my spouse, more important than other aspects of my finances, more important than being able to enjoy myself, more important than other elements of my career, more important than family, or more extended family. That's the choice that he was making. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but when I pointed that out to him, he saw that he was limiting himself in how he had unintentionally chosen those particular priorities. So choose the priorities for yourself, because that's the way that you're going to win your life back after kids, or after university, or after the promotion, or after kids leave, or after you find out that kids are on their way. That's how you're going to win your life back.